Mark Murray and the former VP for the Center for American Progress, who hosts the podcast Your Primary Playlist, Emily Tisch Sussman. So, Mark, let's start with the basics. Who looks most likely to jump into that group of candidates making the next debate, and who is definitely the most vulnerable?
Yeah, Chris, basically, as you mentioned, beyond those three who are the likelies and probables, and talking about Amy Klobuchar, Andrew Yang, and Julian Castro, the person who I think has the other best shot of actually making that September debate stage is Tom Steyer, the billionaire Democratic donor, just with the amount of money that he's already dropping in TV advertisements in Iowa and New Hampshire, using his big email list to help raise money. I wouldn't be surprised if he also gets into the conversation here. But as far as who misses it, I do think that the rest of the field, if you aren't that top 10 or top 11, it is going to be really difficult to make that debate stage. And Chris, heard the candidates talk about, please give me money, but it's only one part of the equation. Cracking that 2% in the polls has been very difficult just given the size of the field. Even after the last debate we had in Miami with people who had good performances, Julian Castro, Cory Booker, it was really hard to go beyond 2% in the polls just given the size and the people who are already dominating the field.
And the debate's in September, but the deadline's August 28th. Is that right, Mark?
Yes.
Okay. So, Emily, I've heard various, estimates that of the 20 people who have been on the debate stage, as many as 6, 8, even 10 could be gone. What's your expectation? What are you watching for, and who do you think is in real trouble here?
Look, it's not that much fun to run for president when you have no money to do it. Your staff...
The first presidential campaign I ever covered, I was like, why would anyone put themselves through this?
But running for office in general is brutal and grueling. But if you're going out there and you're trying to raise the funds just to get even on the ballot in some of the states, look, it's very expensive to get on the ballot in South Carolina and Nevada. So if your campaign doesn't have the money to buy the voter file, to get into it, to actually do serious campaign work, your staff's getting demoralized. But you just can't raise the money to keep going. So candidates that really needed breakout performances that didn't have them, didn't perform well, I think we'll start to see them drop pretty quickly. Raising money in the summer is brutal.
Who would you put in that category?
I'd probably put de Blasio in that category. He had very few individual donors. I think Tim Ryan really struggled. I think Michael Bennet made a lot of good points, but didn't come off particularly well, especially on a stage where there were a lot of stars breaking out. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if their fundraising numbers plummet.
Yeah, the other thing, obviously, is that for some of these folks, and, it may be their staff who is saying to them, this might not be your year. There are alternatives, right? Who is sort of got something out there, Mark, that looks like, all right, this is the best thing?
Yeah, and Chris, we have seen people who've missed the debate stage and keep their candidacies afloat. You ended up having Montana Governor Steve Bullock.
Right.
He missed that first debate performance, hung around, then got into last night's debate. So there is the opportunity that somehow you end up missing a debate and you're going to be able to go on. But more likely than not, you end up becoming kind of like the Bruce Willis Sixth Sense movie where you end up seeing dead men walking, where you have a candidacy, but you're not hitting that debate stage. And as Emily was just pointing out, it's hard to raise money. It's hard to keep staff. And
I just had this vision, Mark, of watching the debates and thinking, I see dead people.
It is. And so, Chris, this winnowing is very real. And to me, the winnowing occurs on if you make the debate stage or not. And if you don't make that debate stage, it is really hard to keep your candidacy afloat.
Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan aside.